right, 10 minutes before 10 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. The other day, I was watching a YouTube video, and it was the Marx Brothers. And one of the Marx Brothers had a bad tooth. And they were going to pull the tooth out themselves.
Of course.
They were not going to go to a dentist. I thought, wow, I wonder if that was ever something people actually did. Remember the movie Castaway? Remember he knocked the bad tooth out with a skate, an ice skate? Remember that?
A skate blade, yeah.
Oh, my gosh. Well, don't do that.
No.
Don't do those things. You don't need to. You live in America, and dentists are affordable. Well, not always, but they're there.
Yes.
Let's see. Dr. Jamie Reynolds is on the phone. Dr. Reynolds is recognized as one of the top orthodontists in Detroit, Michigan, and has a book titled World Class Smiles Made in Detroit. If you're looking at the podcast, that's the cover of the book. I found it on Amazon, and it says here, do-it-yourself orthodontic treatments are a mistake.
Yes.
I think so, yes, especially if you look at the Marx Brothers videos as a way to learn how to do it. Dr. Reynolds, good morning.
Good morning.
Are you in Detroit right now?
I am. I have a feeling we have a little more snowflakes happening than you guys might have.
No, yeah, but we're jealous of the snow. We want you to be jealous of us, but the truth is we're jealous of you.
You know, it was 45 yesterday, and in between we've gotten about 4 inches of snow. So
is that right? Wow. See, I do miss the snow. So let me ask you this. I was watching something pretty absurd that somebody would try to pull a tooth out, or the thing from... did you see the movie Castaway where he knocks a tooth out with a ice skate blade?
I did, yeah.
Yeah. But I'm guessing that's not the kind of do-it-yourself stuff you're talking about, right?
Well, that's do-it-yourself oral surgery, I suppose. I don't run into that as often being in the tooth straightening business. But,
okay. So when you talk about straightening, is that... I remember as a kid being told, I had a crooked tooth, just keep pushing it with your tongue. Is that different than what you're talking about?
You know, biologically, you need about 17 or 18 hours a day of continuous movement, continuous pressure to generate movement. So if you can do it for 18 hours a day, it might work.
And what about like the whiteners? Is that part of what you're talking about too? The self-whitening things?
Most of the self-whitening stuff, is minimally effective. For example, toothpastes that are whitening are typically less whitening and more stain prevention. They can be pretty abrasive, so they've got some scrubbing stuff that is maybe not the most friendly for your enamel as the years go by. What we see more is we're concerned about is do-it-yourself tooth straightening. So, with the advent of the internet, YouTube, Facebook, it's a great way to share information, but there's not really a great filter to know what's a good idea and what's not.
Yeah, I think you're right. And another thing I think that's probably true in your profession and in many professions is that those of us who are not in those professions, we don't often even understand what you do. Like, well, I'm not even sure I know the difference between an orthodontist and a dentist. I'm not even sure I know the difference.
Yeah, and that's pretty common, A lot of times people's phone will ring when they're in the office and they'll say, I'm at the dentist. So some orthodontists get their feathers ruffled by that. The main difference is that, at your dentist, you go to dental school, and then you graduate, and you do. It's sort of like your general practitioner in your healthcare. So they're in charge of the overall well-being of your mouth, just like your general doctor would be. And then for certain procedures, they refer out to a specialist. A specialist is somebody that went to an additional residency, got another degree, specializes their practice, and that's all that they do. So a good litmus test is if you get your fillings and cleanings done someplace, they're not at orthodontic practice.
Really?
Although they may offer tooth straightening stuff.
And is your profession divided by age? In family doctors, when I was a kid, the family doctor for my mom was the same family doctor for the kids. But now we have pediatricians. Is the same thing true for orthodontists?
So there's a pediatric dentist, and they tend to take more of the kids in general, and then, some dentists don't want to deal with doing cleanings on kids, and other kids need some more advanced behavior management techniques. Sometimes they need some medicines to be given before they get fillings. So that's pediatric dentistry. Orthodontics does adults and kids. Most orthodontists, there's a handful that don't do adults, but most orthodontists offer adult and child orthodontic treatment.
Are people able to buy some of those dental appliances, those already sculpted plastic things to put in your mouth to try to straighten your teeth yourself?
So there's a bunch of things that we're seeing now. So there's the true do-it-yourself. And the most common thing that we see there is that if you have a gap between your two front teeth, a kid will want to close that, and they've talked to their parents, and the parents won't take them to the orthodontist, so they put their MacGyver hat on. They want to do it themselves, and they'll put a little rubber band around their two front teeth, and that does compress the tooth a little bit together. So temporarily it will squeeze. And then they'll go to sleep at night, and they'll wake up, and they'll think the rubber band fell off when they sleep, but it really worked its way up underneath their gums. So they put another one on. Next day, same thing happened, another one. And we've seen people that have actually extracted their two front teeth with trying to close them.
Oh, my.
Oh, man.
Yeah, and you definitely don't want that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man, who would have known that would happen? Oh, my gosh. And what is the main reason? Is it money? Is that the problem? Is it insurance?
It could be, and I think a lot of it's in the preteens and teens, and preteens and teens have been known to do stupid stuff. I'm sure, remembering back to when you were a kid, there's some things that, thank goodness, they didn't, weren't life altering. And so, with the information sharing now, a lot of these kids, they're looking for attention, and a lot of kids are in the market for tooth straightening. So now you have some homegrown teenager orthodontic advisors on the internet. And so it's making us orthodontists nervous.
Yeah.
Are braces, when children have braces now, are they still the type that to adhere to the teeth, or do you have those plastic things that you do?
Yep. So there's a bunch of different ways to straighten teeth now. There's braces on the outside of the teeth, braces on the inside of the teeth, clear plastic aligners that you wear a series of them. So maybe you've got 40 or 50 or 60 of them that gradually line up your teeth over time. There's clear braces, metal braces, gold braces. There's just a bunch of different types of ways to straighten your teeth.
Oh, my gosh.
Did you write the book because of the modern or the modern day do-it-yourself video thing where we go to YouTube to learn how to do everything?
I wrote it. My mom was a teacher, and so maybe I've got some leftover teacher genetics in me. And I started to think one day that if my mom was shopping for orthodontic treatment for me and my sister, how the heck would she know how to make an informed decision? So you've got all these choices, and then you've got some direct-to-consumer stuff that's going on, and then you've got a lot of general dentists who are good at orthodontics, although they're not a specialist, and then you have a lot of them that take a weekend course to try to add money to their bottom line, and then they market themselves to their patients like they have the same amount of skill as a specialist, but they don't. And so there's a lot of confusion, there's not really a great way for consumers to know how to choose. So I wrote the book kind of for my mom, thinking that she could read it, understand how to make an educated choice. It's kind of in bite-sized pieces, so you don't have to read the thing cover to cover. There's some little bite-sized piece about kids under the age of 8 or adult orthodontics, accelerated orthodontics, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And if a person is in an accident and like this one fella I knew, he was playing softball and the softball hit him right in his face and just broke all of his teeth, that would be something that you would go to an orthodontist for, because you had to do, he had like reconstructive surgery done.
Yeah, so it depends. So the reconstructive surgery part is usually a combination of an oral surgeon and a dentist or a cosmetic dentist. The orthodontist is more of the foundation. So we put the pieces in the right spot. And so then the dentist can make sure they're the right size and shape as they're restoring them.
Oh my gosh.
I am not really good at fixing cars. I am not really good at pretty much anything. And so I wouldn't want to fix my own teeth, and I don't want to fix my own car. I thank God that I have a job where I can pay people to do those things.
Well, the key is, as you mentioned before, most people don't know how many teeth they have in their mouth. The answer is 32, including wisdom teeth. A lot of people don't know the difference between the orthodontist and the dentist. And so what we get really concerned about is the stuff that people don't know that they don't know. And
right.
It does take a long time to learn how to do what we do. So as specialists, most of us don't charge for our examinations, and we recommend that you're thinking about orthodontic treatment, spend the time to go in, get thoroughly examined by a specialist, and try to make an informed decision from there.
Good advice. I found the book on Amazon. Do you have a website you want to recommend, Doctor?
Yep, it's askdrreynolds.com, and you can find, I've got a blog on there, a bunch of articles I've written, and then there's links to the book. It's, I think, $9 on Amazon.
Thank you, Doctor. Dr. Jamie Reynolds, World Class Smiles Made in Detroit. AskDrReynolds.com is the website that you just gave us. Thank you, Doctor.
Thanks, guys.
We'll be right back.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370.
Fox News Radio, I'm Chris Foster. Bruno Mars is the big winner at this year's Grammy Awards.